Hey there and welcome back to the club. Today I'll be showing you how to draw Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I'm going to start with the head crest. Starting in the middle here, I'm going to draw a point. From here I'm going to draw a diagonal line going out to the left and one going out to the right. So starting on the left side, I'm going to draw a straight line going to that center point. I'm going to go from the center out towards the right with the same length diagonal line. From here I'm going to draw two curves going up the sides. So curving up to the top on the left and on the right. Now these are going to come down, so I'm going to draw a little curve from the tip coming down. And I'm not going to close it off at the bottom because I want to draw two straight lines coming down towards the center, leaving a gap in the middle. So from here I'm going to draw an angled line coming in, leaving a gap. And on the right side, I will do the same thing. From here I'm going to draw the center spike of the head crest. So it's going to go up the middle, so I'm going to go up above these 2 points, right in the middle there with a point. I'm going to curve down to the left side. And then from the top, I'll curve down to the right side. Okay, so we got the head crest. Let's get down to the face detail. So underneath this line on the left, I'm going to draw in the eye. So it's almost like a half circle tucked in underneath that head crest. I'll do the same thing on the right. From here, I'm going to draw in the sides of the side guard, the metal guard. So on the side of that left eye here, I'll draw an angled line coming down. And on the right, I will do the same thing. And we're going to come in towards the center of the face with an angled line. Two short lines coming in, and then we're going to flare this out again. So using that same angle, I'm going to go all the way down to the side guards, like so. From here, we're going to curve up the bottoms. So from this left side, I'm going to curve up towards the left, curve up towards the right. Now these sides are going to go up the side underneath the head crest with a slight curve going in. It's going to curve in and then go up, and then behind this little head crest, I'm going to go up with a short curve. We're going to start at the top on the right side, curve down, and then make our way down to the bottom of the crest. Now from here, we're going to connect those 2 points with a curve for the top of the head. Curving up behind that center spike, and over on the right side. Now from here, we want to draw in the little opening for the eyes. So just above this line, I'm going to draw an angled line going across. Do the same thing on the right side. And we're going to go up in sort of like an upside down V in the middle, like this. We're just going to close off that gap. Make this a little bit lower. And we're going to color the inside area in black. Let's go down and finish off the face. So we're going to draw the mask of the helmet. So down here we're going to draw the chin down to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a straight line across the bottom for the chin. And curve up the sides of the face, just tucked in underneath the side guard. Okay, so we got the head. Actually, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some separations in the middle of the side guard. So along here, I'm going to take that same curve, just draw a curve like this, and I'm going to draw that twice, just evenly spaced out. Do the same thing on the right side. So curving up on the sides. And then we're going to move on down towards the neck. So underneath the chin in the middle here, I'm just going to draw a straight line coming down. I'm going to take that point and curve underneath the side guards. So from here I'm just going to curve up. Do the same thing on the right side. And we're just going to split this, just like we did on the side here, with a curve that goes towards the middle, and back up on the right side. From this point we want to draw in the shoulder armor. So from the side of the side guards here, I'm just going to draw two angled lines coming out. So from the side here, just coming down in a slight slope, on both sides. Now I'm going to intersect this with a curve. Starting from the top, just moving up here, I'm going to curve down. We'll do the same thing on the right side. So starting at the same height, and curve down. In the back, we want to show that this shoulder armor is folding over the shoulders. So we're going to take this point here and curve it in the opposite direction behind the shoulders. Just curving that in like that. From here, let's go ahead and draw in the tops of the shoulder armor. So from here, I'm going to curve all the way out to the tip of the shoulder armor. Curving out like that on the left, and then on the right we'll do the same thing. So curving out to about there, so making sure they're roughly the same length. Now from the center here, we're going to do that little detail, the little notch that comes in. So from here I'm just going to draw an angled line coming in on both sides. We're going to come down with a slight angle line, like that, and we're going to take those points and curve up to the tip of the shoulder armor. So from here I just want to draw a nice curve coming right in. We'll do the same thing on the right side. So curving up to that point there. From here, let's draw in the spikes on the shoulder armor. So I'm just going to tuck these in behind just to make it a little bit easy. So I'm going to draw 2 on the sides and 1 in the middle, but it's going to be behind the curve. So right up here, I'm just going to draw a curve like this. I'm going to curve along the top of the spike. I'm going to curve this back with a slight taper, so it goes a little bit wider, and then I'll curve out. We're going to take that same thing and draw it on the end here. So this line first, we're going to start up here, curving up. We'll curve the top of the spike. We'll taper that line back, and then curve that underneath the shoulder armor. Now we're going to draw that same thing, but we're going to lower it a little bit so it looks like there's some curve to the shoulder armor. So down here, I'm going to start with the top curve first. Curve the back, taper that line in, and then just curve that in behind the shoulder armor. Now we're going to do that same thing, but flipped over on the right side, starting with the inside one first. Starting up here, making sure that gap is the same. Curve up, curve out, curve that back with a tapered line, and then pull that in behind the shoulder pad. We'll do the one on the end. So right here, we'll curve up, we'll curve across, taper it back, and then curve that in behind the shoulder armor. Now we're going to drop one in behind in the middle here. So dropping the line down, curve the back, taper it, and then pull that back in there. Okay, so we got the shoulder pads. Let's get into the center of the body here. Just below this neckline, I'm going to draw a little point. This will be our starting point. I'm going to draw a vertical line to split the chest in half. From here, I'm going to take this point and curve out to the left and the right. So up here, I'm going to curve down, curve up on the right side. Now I'm going to angle these lines underneath the shoulder guard, coming down this way. So out this way. I'm going to continue this behind, so underneath with a short line like this. So this is the side of the chest. These are going to come down with a curve. Curving down right here. Now I'm going to connect those 2 points with a curve, and I just want to touch that center line. So coming up here into the middle and then down on the right side. Okay, so we got the chest. We're going to get into the rib cage now. So underneath these 2 curves, I'm just going to draw 2 short vertical lines. Okay, so this is the side of the body. We're going to come in towards the rib cage. So right here, I'm going to curve in. And the waist is quite narrow on this character. So we're going to draw it so that the waistline is quite thin. In the center here, right just below this chest, I'm going to draw a point. This is our center. I'm going to curve up in towards that center point. Do the same thing on the right side. Now we're going to draw on the waist. So from this point at the bottom, we'll curve down and just bow them outwards so they're like this. Let's complete the waistline with a curve just above the belt line. So right here, draw a curve. And then center here, we're going to split this in half for the abdomen. Drawing a straight line. We're going to draw a curved line across the middle, like this. From these ends, I'm just going to curve up and tuck that in underneath the rib cage. On the bottom, I'm going to curve downwards. A little slight bend there. Now we're going to draw on the sash. On the side here, there's this little medallion. So we just want to draw an oval. Starting from the top corner, just draw a little oval like this. And there's a little symbol in here. So I'm just going to draw an angled line in, curve up, and taper and curve that down to the side of that oval. We're going to draw the bottom of the sash. So we're going to move down here, draw that same curve that we did on top, and then connect it with a straight line down the bottom. To make it look like the sash is folded over, we're just going to draw a couple curves inside. So like this. And it looks better that these curves are tapered, so it makes it look like folded cloth. From here, we're going to draw in the hip armor. So on the side of these corners, we want to draw 2 flares that come out. So underneath that medallion, it's going to get tucked underneath there. And here we're going to flare out. And then we're going to curve these back in. Imagine a curve coming from this point over to the right side, but we're going to draw a little gap here. So we're going to draw a curve on both sides, and we're going to come up and tuck this in underneath the sash. 2 straight lines, this, and then we're going to tuck in the center plate. So we're going to step up a little bit on the left side, come down toward the center, and then tuck that in underneath the right side as well. We're going to do some separation lines here. So along the side here, we're going to draw a curve. And just make sure we space that out evenly. We'll do the same thing on the right side, just like that. Okay, before we get into the legs, I'm going to get into the arms because the arms might overlap my legs. So let's start with the little shoulder guard first. So we're going to leave a little gap between the chest and the edge of the shoulder guard. So from here, draw an angled line. We're going to draw the curve for the bottom of the shoulder guard. So we're going to make this quite wide to fit the arm in. And we'll just draw that same angled line going up. So these two lines are parallel. We're going to draw that same curve in here just to show that metal separation across like that. We're going to draw the upper arm. So from this point in the chest, I want to curve in towards the inner side of the elbow, just underneath that plate. From here, I'm going to go out, and then I'm going to curve it in for the inner part of the forearm. Now here, it gets a little bit tricky. I'm going to draw in the arm guard, the forearm guard. So up here, in line with the elbow, I'm going to curve across like this. So it just overlaps that line of the inner forearm. Up here, I'm going to draw a curve. That. Now these 2 points are going to curve in towards the wrist. I'm going to draw the wrist quite low, right about here, about the same height as the side hip armor. So from this side, I'm going to curve to the outside of the forearm, and we're going to taper this in. We're going to get a little bit narrower as we get towards the wrist. So from here, I'm going to curve in as well. We connect those 2 points with a curve, just like that. Let's go up and draw that same curve just for a little separation detail. And for the back of the arm, I'm just going to step in a little bit, just draw a curve like that, just to complete the arm. We're going to add some spikes on the forearm guard here. So just like we did on the shoulder, we're going to do 2, and we're going to put 1 right in the middle of this forearm guard. So up here, we're going to start with the back. So this curve here, draw the top, we're going to taper back, and then we'll pull that down in behind that arm. Let's do 1 more right about here, curve up, taper out, and then pull that right in. We're going to do that same thing right here, but we're going to start with the bottom edge first. So the bottom edge, curve up the side, curve the top, taper it back, and then from that point to that point, we just need to connect it with a curve like this. And we're going to do a simple fist. We're going to draw a hand like this. We're going to start with a thumb with the fingers folded in behind. So we're going to draw the thumb part right up here, right where this opening is. Curving, draw a straight line down, and now we're going to pull this back in. So this is the thumb. We're going to draw a little bracket on the end there. Right in between this line, we're going to draw a straight line down, go across. Now we're going to draw the fingers, but we're going to draw them pulled in. So they're tapered in, and then pull that back underneath the guard so that the guard actually overlaps the hand just a little bit there. We're going to take that and draw the same thing on the right side. So let's start with the shoulder guard first. So this line here, we're looking at that little gap here, that little space. So I'm going to start right here, draw an angled line, making sure they're roughly at the same height. I'm going to draw the bottom edge with a curve, and then we'll just tuck that in underneath the shoulder armor. We're going to draw those little lines, starting with the bottom one first, and one up above that. Let's draw in the bicep. So from this corner of this chest, I'm going to curve into right about there. So we're just matching this up, so making sure they're roughly at the same height. We'll draw the forearm line, and we'll curve this in to right about there. Let's draw that intersecting curve for the forearm plate. So up here, curve across, and just overlap it like that. We're going to draw the top, curving across right about there. If you want, you can just, might as well draw on the back of the arm here. So we're going to step in on the right side, curve in behind that forearm guard. Let's get into the arm. So in here, we're going to drop this down with a curve to the inner part of the forearm. Now leaving that gap pretty much the same. Start from here, we're going to curve on down. Curve down, so it tapers in. We're going to close that off with a curve. And we do a separation line here. So separating that, we'll draw in the spikes. So starting with the one on the top, right here, curve up, go across, taper it back, and then pull that in behind the arm. Now as I'm drawing this, I'm actually looking back and forth just to make sure that everything is lined up. All my points are lined up. So here, draw another one, a curve, top of the spike, taper that back, and pulling that in to that line there. We're going to do this line here. So starting up here, draw the back, we'll draw the top, tapering it back, and then curving to the bottom of that line. Now for the thumb, we're going to start with that top line first. So curving out, straight line along the thumb, and then we're going to pull that back. We'll do that little bracket. Now in between this line, I'm going to draw a line for the finger, going across. Now the top of the knuckles, we'll just do with a curve, and pull that in so there's a little overlap there. Okay, so we got the upper part of the body. Let's get into the legs. So this is where we draw in the leg with the metal plate for the shin guard on top. So this could get a little bit tricky, But starting on the top of the shin on the outside, we're going to step in a little bit here, draw a curve, a little short curve. On the inside here, we're going to leave a gap here and draw a straight angled line coming in to the same height. From here, we're going to draw the back of the calf. So going out in an angle, and we're going to pull that in with a short line. Like we did with this line here, we're going to overlap these two lines with a curve. So starting at the tip, we're going to come across like that. So it overlaps a lot on top and a little bit on the bottom. Up here, we're going to draw a little diamond shape. So we're going to come across. Now from here, we want to draw an angle line coming down towards the center here and pull that back up against that line there. Down here, along halfway down this line, I'm going to draw an angled line going out. So this is the top edge of the shin guard. Now we want to draw the length of the foot. So I'm going to draw the feet down to about here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a little space for the bottom of the foot. The shin guard is going to come down to about here. From this point, I'm just going to curve down to the bottom of the shin plate. Now, these spikes, I'm going to have to draw them overlapping the edge of the shin guard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this point and draw an angled line coming in towards the ankle. So I'm going to leave a little space here, but it's going to get narrower as it comes in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step in, draw an angled line. This is the bottom edge of the spike. So I'm drawing the first spike first. Taper back and pull that in. Now that I have that in place, I know I'm going to draw another one here, but because it's angled, I'm going to have to draw this line in first. So from this point, I'm going to angle in to right about there. So you can see it's coming in narrower. I'm going to draw the back edge of the second spike, draw the bottom, draw the top, curve it back, pull it to the front. Now this line I'm just going to complete to right about there, so it's the same height. I'll finish it off with a curve. I'm going to draw one more spike in here, starting with the bottom line. Draw the back, draw the top, curve that back, and then pull that right in to the top of the line there. From here, let's draw in the foot. So we're going to step in a little bit on the right side here, just draw the back of the ankle. From here, we're going to draw a curve to the ball of the foot. Now we're going to reverse this to the tip of the foot. So another curve like this. We're going to go up in an angle. Now this is going to go all the way up with a curve to the front edge of that shin guard. And we just want to do a little separation here. So right here, draw a curve, and then pull that right in with a curve underneath the shin guard. Okay, so we got that leg. Let's do the same thing on this side. So starting with the outside edge first, I'm going to step in. We're going to try to get it to the same height, right here to about there. We're going to draw the back inside edge of the leg. So right here, I'm going to draw an angled line coming in and go out. So we're just mirroring what's happening on the left side. Come in like that. Now from here, I want to draw that curve going up to the point of the shin guard. We're going to draw the inside edge of the shin guard first to the same height. We're going to draw that little diamond shape. So coming across, down in the middle, so making sure that these points are lined up, and just pull that in like that. Right here along halfway, we're just going to draw an angled line. Now this is where we're going to take this and pull this into right about here. So from this point, I want to angle in, draw the back edge of the first spike, the bottom, curve the top, taper it back, and pull that in. We're going to continue this line, so we're going to come out to here. Draw the back edge, curve it at the top, taper it back, come down, and straight line. Then we're going to continue this line towards the ankle. We're going to close off the bottom of the foot, like that. We'll draw that one spike in here. So right here, draw a straight line, draw the back of the spike, curve the top, curve it back, and pull that in. Let's draw the bottom of the foot to finish this off. So we're going to step in on the left side, curve the back of the ankle. We'll draw that foot, the bottom of the foot, going to the ball of the foot. We'll reverse the curve to the tip of the toe, go up in an angle. Now we're going to connect that point to that point, like here, with a curve going down, like that. And we'll just draw a little foot detail up here, curving that across, and tucking that in underneath. The final thing is the little stash that's hanging from the back. So we're just going to start with a curved line, but this curve is going to have to get tucked in behind the legs and the arm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on this little medallion first, curving out underneath the arm, curving around this way, underneath the shin guard, coming up behind the right side, and then curving down. We're going to take this line and duplicate it, but we're going to go a little bit thicker as we get towards the middle and then taper out this way. Starting up here, I'm going to curve, curving around so it's thicker, coming in tighter, come in tight, and then we'll go back out wide again as we get out to the tip. That. We'll just draw an angle line just to close that off. We're going to draw 2 of these. So I'm going to start up here, draw a reverse curve. So I just want to sort of weave these through so they're not exactly the same shape. Come up this way, and I'll come up like that. I'm going to take this line and do the same thing. So taper it out wider, gets wide right here, gets narrower, and it gets wide at the end, and then we just connect it with a straight line. And that is pretty much it. There we have it. There's Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.